Hey everyone, welcome to match 1 of 3 of Lurrus Counter-Cat. In this match we are playing Gruul Midrange. Going to be interesting considering, Gruul Midrange usually plays a particular enchantment which would be pretty brutal against a 4-color deck, but let's see how that goes. Make sure you cache the deck tech that I posted this morning. The link will be in the description of this video. Deck tech obviously will explain to you what this Lurrus Counter-Cat deck is. Our opening hand is decent. Decent enough to keep. We have some protection, some threats. Let's see if our Delver flips. It does. Now, we don't have removal for Arbor Elf right now, and pathing it may or may not be a good choice, because we're gonna end up ramping them anyway. So let's see what I decide to do here. Okay, so I decide to path it, which is fine. They won't have access to 3 mana essentially this turn, which is pretty important, because I definitely smelled Blood Moon coming down. And obviously they were definitely going to Blood Moon us there. So now the question is, what color do I want to secure here? Because I know what's coming. Now what I could do is keep all my mana open and just do Force of Negation hardcast, or I could just do Force of Negation the usual way, which is, pitch my sleight of hand and not let Blood Moon resolve. Which is probably what I'm going to end up doing here. Definitely smell Blood Moon coming. Yep, that's what I thought. This, my friends, is why we play Force of Negation. Alright, so we remain greedy with our mana. Let's see if I learn anything from that Blood Moon. Probably not. I'm definitely thinking, he says, should I get a basic or should I just get another shock? Basic, shock, shock. Alright, the greedy play. I like it. Dreadhorde Arcanist is a good draw. And we're essentially going to play all our lands. So, yeah, okay. Our opponent saw the writing on the wall and we go on to game 2. Perfect. So negates, probably, against a deck like this. Return to nature, probably more important here. If we secure green, we're okay. I'm not sure we need anything else, though. Let's see what I decide. Yeah, Spell Snare, not hitting much in this deck. Yeah, get rid of some number of cantrips. Okay, that's fine. Oh, interesting. I'll get rid of Lightning Helix. Maybe because it's greedy? No, yeah, that's right. I must bring that back. Yeah, just get rid of... There we go. Usually the best way forward. Just get rid of some Ops or Sleight of Hands. It's enough. Look at that. You got 2 Lightning Helixes, but not sure about this hand. No threats and no way to dig. This hand is greedy. This hand is a bit too greedy, because I don't even have a Serums or an Opt or anything to be able to dig for a threat, so this is a very poor strategy. And I know better. I think I was just feeling good. And you see here I draw Delver, but I don't have the right mana for it. I'm going to be at the mercy of my draws now. This is not how Delver of Brews normally plays his decks, but mistakes happen. Poor judgment happens. So let's see how this game plays out. Utopia Sprawl is going to resolve. We're not going to counter that. Maybe I should have. So we're lucky. We draw Misty Rainforest, but we're dead to Blood Moon this turn. Oh, no, well, we have Force of Negation, so not really, but close. See, Force of Negation allows you to play greedy, or greedier than usual. So let's see if a Blood Moon comes down. Probably yes. Yep. So, Force. There we go. Negate's a fine draw. Probably an island here. Yep. So our opponent's gonna have okay, there we go. Got no way to protect our Delver. So down it goes. See, this is what I mean by that was just a poor hand to keep. Far too greedy. The multiple lightning helixes and lightning bolt just really attracted me, and I shouldn't have. And a stone rain to boot. We'll just cast our lightning helix before it goes. So now the odds of us winning are extremely low. Here I'm thinking, okay, do I set up a Delver over 3 turns? Do I dig for a land? Yeah, it's brutal. So while we watch my past self lose here, just a reminder, if you enjoy my content, want to see more and support the channel, hitting that subscribe button down below on YouTube really goes a long way. Notification bell as well. If you want to share my content on social media, that really helps me out, helps spread the word. Would really appreciate it. Alright, so let's see what's coming down here. Now I would normally guess Primeval Titan, instead it's Infernal Titan, which is interesting. An interesting variant of Gruul Midrange. I've seen some deck lists in the past that play Infernal Titan in some number. I'm not sure it's necessarily better than Primeval Titan in most scenarios, but it's definitely winning this game. So, yeah, I mean, it's still game over. Yeah, there we go. Just bad hand. Very bad hand. And I paid the price, so let that be a lesson too. Don't keep hands like that. Pretty much ever. This hand is much better. Turn 1 Delver with some protection. The typical tempo play in Modern when you're playing Delver. Protect that queen. Let's see if Bolt comes down. Oh, alright. Arbor Elf. Plains is the draw. Surprisingly not the worst draw, considering we're playing a Blood Moon deck. Or against a Blood Moon deck, I should say. So the right move here would be to just hold up. Let's see what's coming down this turn. Is it a Blood Moon? What is it? Alright. Okay, well, we are going to mana leak that. Interesting. I just had to force negation it instead. So my thinking there is I'm going to keep mana leak for Infernal Titan, which is not an incorrect play. And so that was my main concern. I wanted to retain that mana leak for the future, so I decided to just pitch the force to itself and get rid of that card. So I think that's fine. That's correct. Knowing that what's coming, we're not playing a deck blindly here. I think that's fine. So another Arbor Elf comes down. A Blood Moon. And we have no choice but to mana leak this. We don't have access to green. So mana leak it is. That's unfortunate. I would have preferred to use Return to Nature there. Seer Visions is a thing. Now we could use Return to Nature on that Utopia Sprawl. I wonder if I do that. I probably would to slow down our opponent. Or I should say. Alright. So definitely Return to Nature Utopia Sprawl. Let's see if I do that or I decide to cast the Coddle instead. Huh. Did nothing. So maybe keeping it up again for another Blood Moon is probably my concern. Which again is still a fair thing to be concerned about. Thragtusk is gonna make this messy. If I had gotten rid of that Utopia Sprawl, they wouldn't be able to cast Thragtusk that turn, which is unfortunate. So again, I'm deathly afraid of Blood Moon here. But realistically, I should have just gotten rid of that Utopia Sprawl. But it's really a hard decision to make. Stone Rain. Yep. And this is why. This is why it's a hard decision to make. So I'm going to float green and white, let that resolve, and then I'm going to return to nature. There we go. And this is why I kept that return to nature. Utopia Sprawl was a nice target to aim for, but just can't do it. We would have died to that Blood Moon. Lightning Helix is actually decent here. Our opponent, I guess, not liking our Force of Negations, but, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we're playing a tempo deck here. If only they understood what we're sacrificing to play a deck like this, they probably wouldn't have complained too much. But it's okay, I understand. So another Utopia Sprawl, which is really not what I want to see, honestly, with that Arbor Elf. Again, something maybe I should have taken care of that Arbor Elf in the upkeep phase, but I did not. Let's see what Bloodbraid Elf brings out. Another Arbor Elf. Okay. Well, I guess it would have made Lightning Helix redundant. And now our opponent has a more serious clock. So the question is, do I deal with the Thragtusk right now and create a 3/3? I'm not sure yet. Next turn, they'll chump with one of their Arbor Elves, which is what my guess is. So here we need to play with our mana a bit. Yeah. I mean, our life totals, I should say. My life total. I think the best bet here is getting rid of that Thragtusk. Just biting that bullet. Taking 5 again doesn't really make sense. So I'll just deal with that 3/3. Path to Exile is a very good draw. So now we gotta do some combat math. Can't really clear anything out this turn. So I'm just gonna attack in with Delver. Yeah. And then if our opponent decides to attack with everything next turn, or nearly everything, then we have a clear path to victory. Because then we could just path their one blocker and then we're good. Yeah, we're just gonna let that through. Another Sacred Foundry is definitely not useful right now. So my guess here is, yeah, with the math, it works. If I path, yeah, no, I gotta keep Walnut back. If I path the beast, for example, they could attack with everything and still not kill me. So that's basically my thought process here. I think this is where I'm actually going to go get Lurrus of the Dream Den. Yeah, that's what I thought. So all I have to do is survive this turn, and then I win, more or less. They have no idea that I have a Path to Exile coming, so my guess is that they're going to attack with everything. Doesn't really matter what they were to cast this turn. Blood Moon is okay. So even without Lurrus, which would have been useful there. I mean, they did draw another Blood Moon. Can't completely complain here. There we go. So there we go. We win. They wouldn't have done enough damage, and they kept themselves completely open, and we won. So that was a grind at the end, but we grinded pretty well, which is another testament to this deck. This deck does grind pretty well because it does have a nice selection of tools at its disposal. Path to Exile being a pretty important one, but Lightning Helix doing its job as well, and then your typical teamer suite that you would expect in a Delver deck. So what do you think about the match? This is definitely kind of one of those worst case scenario matches where our opponent is playing a lot of land destruction and land disruption with Blood Moon. We were able to stave off most of them until the end there. That last Blood Moon definitely cut us off our Lurrus, but we did have access to our planes, which is why we tapped accordingly, and we were able to path their main creature and win the game. But, you know, it was really down to the wire, but this is why I always say, with decks like this, you got to manage your resources carefully, including your life total, and that's what I did, and it benefited us in the end. So let me know what you think about the match in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content in general, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on Twitter and Facebook, share my stuff on Twitter and Facebook. All that stuff really helps me out a lot. It really goes a long way. It takes a couple of seconds for you, but for me and the channel, it makes a huge difference. So we really appreciate it. If you want to go a step further and support this channel through Patreon, check out the link in the description of the video as well. My Patreon community is slowly growing. I love it. Check out the tiers. Basically, there are patron rewards. You get some part of your money back at the end of every year, guaranteed. But there's more information on Patreon. Thanks, and have a good one.